everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Infowars.com broadcast. I am Dale Willis, reporting for Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.tv, coming at you from Denver, Colorado, FEMA Region 8. Now, I want to cover in this short time that I have here a special report titled Obama Uses Killing of bin Laden as a Political Tool. Now, this is in New York Times and others, ABC and others reported on this April 27th. But jumping right into the article from NewYorkTimes.com, from Washington, it says, presidents running for re-election typically boast of programs they created, jobs they helped, or laws they signed. They talk about rising test scores or falling deficits in expanding job roles. But President Obama is increasingly taking the unusual route of bragging about how he killed a man. To be sure, that man was Osama bin Laden, and he is not mourned among either the president's supporters or detractors. But in the days leading up to the first anniversary of the raid that finally caught up to the Qaeda mastermind, Mr. Obama has made a concerted, if to some indecorous, effort to trumpet the killing as perhaps the central accomplishment of his presidency. Well, I disagree with the fact that he killed Osama bin Laden, and that's why I'm titling this special report, Obama Did Not Kill Osama bin Laden, but he is killing America. So join me on this little journey here in this short time. I'm going to give you a lot of information, but hopefully you'll pass this on to others if you already know this information. From an article from Paul Joseph Watson of Infowars.com right here, May 4th, 2011, he goes into the killing of bin Laden and really surrounding Dr. Steve Pieczenik, who has frequented Alex Jones' daily radio show here at Infowars.com. But Paul Joseph Watson says in his article, top U.S. government insider Dr. Steve R. Pieczenik, a man who held numerous different influential positions under the 3 different presidents and still works with the Defense Department, shockingly told the Alex Jones show yesterday that Osama bin Laden died in 2001 and that he was prepared to testify in front of a grand jury how a top general told him directly that 9/11 was a false flag inside job. Pieczenik cannot be dismissed as a conspiracy theorist, quote, conspiracy theorist. He served as the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State under 3 different administrations, Nixon, Ford, and Carter, while also working under Reagan and Bush Sr., and still works as a consultant of the Department of Defense. And he's a former U.S. Navy captain, and it goes on. He's won several awards, and he completed his PhD at MIT. Very qualified and very trustworthy source concerning this particular subject. Back in April 2002, the article goes on, which says over 9 years ago, Pieczenik told the Alex Jones show that bin Laden had already been, quote, dead for months, and that the government was waiting for the most politically expedient time to roll out his corpse. Pieczenik would be in a position to know, having personally met bin Laden and worked with him during the proxy war against the Soviets in Afghanistan back in the early 80s. And it goes on to say how he died, and he had Marfan syndrome, and basically a degenerate disease that really no permanent cure for it, and so it really shortens the lifespan of the sufferer. But in interest of time, I want to move on here. In the article, it says Pieczenik said that the decision to launch the hoax now, this is talking about our current president, loving president, who supposedly killed bin Laden. You know, you saw all of those situation room photos and things like that of this hoax that went down almost a year ago. But the article goes on to say Pieczenik said that the decision to launch the hoax now was made because Obama had reached a low with plummeting approval ratings and the fact that the birther issue was blowing up in his face. He had to prove that he was more than American. He had to be aggressive, said Pieczenik, adding to the fact that the farce was also a way of isolating Pakistan as a retaliation. for all those Predator drone attacks that have killed hundreds of Pakistanis. So moving right along with my special report, that was an article by Paul Joseph Watson that really kind of breaks down Dr. Steve Pieczenik, who he is, and the stance that he's taken, and really can prove without a shadow of a doubt that Osama bin Laden was not killed by President Obama, but he was dead way before, around 9/11, around the time of 9/11. So not only, I'm going to go on here, not only did Obama not kill Osama bin Laden, of course, because he was already dead, I want to point out that he's killing America today. These are just a few of his broken promises, and there's an extensive list of these things that he promised in his campaign and, of course, did not come through and follow through on, with it being towards the end of his presidency. He probably won't follow through on. So one of his was in no-bid contracts above $25,000. I'm just going to run through this whole list. Repeal the Bush tax cuts for higher incomes. Forbid companies in bankruptcy from giving executives bonuses. Prevent drug companies from blocking generic drugs. Work with Russia to move nuclear weapons off of a hair trigger alert. Well, we know now that a recent article that was put out yesterday about how Russia and China will be working in the U.S. on some drills coming up here in the next month or so. So we need to look for that. But so not only are we not working in Russia in that way, in the form of nuclear weapons, we're working with them in another way. We're going to allow them to come over here and learn how to detain us as Americans, probably. But another one was close the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center. Another one was allow 5 days of public comment before signing bills. Well, we know now that he just signed those things Christmas Eve or whenever that was, when he signed the bill, and the NDAA bill. But not only not waiting 5 days, but also he has, as I'll go on to say here in a second, he has pretty much declared Congress ceremonial, and he doesn't even need it. He said he only needs UN's approval for war. So one other point I want to make also about a promise that was broken was tougher rules against the revolving door for lobbyists and former officials. Of course, we know I cover in my normal food-related weekly video broadcasts that I put out talking about GMOs and Monsanto and the big role they play in GMOs. We know that there's a huge revolving door between former Monsanto employees and our government, and that's why they're able to rule the way they are. But moving right along with this particular subject, a few articles over at Infowars.com here, one by Paul Joseph Watson. These are some more recent things that Obama is doing that are just out of control. One of them, an article by Paul Joseph Watson titled "Obama Signs Global Internet Treaty Worse Than SOPA," which is the ACTA bill. Also one titled "Coup d'etat, Pentagon and Obama Declare Congress Ceremonial." And of course, you've probably seen that video where Congress, talking about Congress Jones and him introducing a bill that would subject Leon Panetta and Obama to impeachment. So look forward to that. And then another article by Kurt Nimmo on Infowars.com was Obama ban on youth farm chores, part of a larger power grab. It's looking like that one is getting shot down due to your taking action, so that's wonderful. But that's just some of the things that Obama, I believe, is doing to kill America, and he's not done yet, and he's could be facing another term here if we're not careful. So he's using this Floridian slip. He's using this Osama bin Laden killing thing as a actual political tactic. An interesting move on his part. But now I want to end by saying I am calling all that are watching this to break your trance, break your conditioning, and fight in the info war for true freedom and liberty in this country. Please get this info out to everyone you know, and stay tuned to Infowars.com for more. I am Dale Willis, reporting for Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Thank you for joining us.